All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're looking at an article from Madcap Global Entertainment that lays out a pretty stark contrast in Australia. It's a tale of two very different national priorities: funding for life-saving medical research on one hand, and a massive investment in professional sport on the other. It's really a story about numbers and what those numbers say about a nation's values. Okay, let's get right to the heart of it. The entire debate really boils down to these two figures you see right here. On one side, you have a $200 million ask to fight a devastating disease. And on the other, a $600 million commitment for a new rugby league team. We're talking a 3-to-1 ratio, and it's this huge difference that the article really sinks its teeth into. So to really understand the gravity of that first number, let's first dig into the case being made for that $200 million. Why is this brain cancer funding, according to advocates, so incredibly urgent? Well, the source material paints a really grim picture here. For any Australian under the age of 40, brain cancer is the single deadliest cancer there is. Even more sobering, it's the biggest killer of children from any disease. But maybe the most shocking fact the article points out is this: survival rates haven't gotten any better in 2 decades, 20 years. Think about all the medical breakthroughs we've seen, yet for this, things have stood still. And it's not just about stats on a page. This slide really gets to the human story. The article talks about a recent rally where people placed hundreds of pairs of shoes on the lawns of Parliament House. Each pair represented a life lost to this disease. It's just a powerful, silent, and deeply personal way to make those statistics feel real. And beyond the immense human cost, the article highlights a massive economic one too. Right now, brain cancer costs the Australian economy $850 million every single year. And the projection, well, it's stark. If nothing changes, that number could balloon to over $3 billion a year by 2050. So in response to all this, the Brain Tumour Alliance Australia, the BTAA, has put a very specific plan on the table. They're asking for that $200 million, but spread out over 10 years to fund research and specialists. And on top of that, a much smaller but critical $8.75 million to get 23 specialized nurses in the field to provide that essential care. Okay, so that's one side of the coin. Now let's flip it over and take a look at the other side of this comparison, that $600 million commitment to help get a Papua New Guinea team into the National Rugby League. So why do it? Well, the official government line is that this is a strategic move. It's actually part of a bigger security treaty in the Pacific, so it's basically foreign policy being done through sport. But the author of the article presents a completely different take, calling the decision a slap in the face for the 2,000 Australians who are diagnosed with brain cancer every year. And this all leads to a really fundamental question that the source material raises. Should Australian taxpayers really be footing the bill for the expansion of a wealthy, highly profitable corporation like the National Rugby League? I mean, just look at this. The NRL is not exactly struggling for cash, far from it. As the article lays out, it's got these huge, multiple revenue streams. We're talking massive corporate sponsorships, incredibly lucrative TV deals, and a ton of money coming in from gambling, merchandise, and ticket sales. This is a financial powerhouse. And the author really hammers this point home with a direct quote from Madcap's managing director. He argues that the league has more than enough financial muscle to pay for its own expansion. And that phrase, government handouts, yeah, that's intentionally pointed. It frames this public money as just totally unnecessary. The article then reinforces this by just looking at the NRL's other big plans. I mean, they're already spending their own money to expand into Las Vegas, and they're reportedly thinking about a financial buy-in of the entire UK Super League. These just aren't the actions of an organization that's short on cash, right? They're the signs of a league with huge global ambitions. So, zooming out a bit, the author suggests this isn't just a one-off thing. It's really worth remembering that sport holds this unique, almost sacred place in Australian culture. And the article argues that this cultural weight leads to a pretty consistent pattern in how governments set their priorities, often putting sport ahead of other sectors. Yeah, the article suggests this is part of a bigger pattern. It points back to the COVID pandemic, claiming that keeping football games going was a higher priority than, say, saving the live music industry. The author also puts this sports funding right alongside huge ongoing national problems like the housing crisis and the cost of living. So the crucial point the article makes really boils down to this one simple economic idea: opportunity cost. By choosing to spend $600 million on a football team, the nation is also choosing not to spend that money on everything else it could have funded, like, for instance, the brain cancer research, 3 times over. And this all leaves us with the final, powerful question that the source material really wants us to think about. It's bigger than just footy versus healthcare. It's this. When every dollar can only be spent once, how do we as a country decide what truly matters most? It's a question of our values, our vision, and what kind of future we're actually trying to build.